See this stuff up here? It just leaked last night, getting bigger. You see the warping? It's gonna fall on our heads again. We just got a new tile there. We just got a new tile there. Why? Because there's a pipe that starts over here, goes down right through there. Now, what do you think this is? That's mold. What do you think that was caused by? Mold. Does that leak in when it's closed? Absolutely. Now my roommate just took one market basket bag and a milk jug in one hand, a cane like I'm using, and he just fell right here. Fell so hard on his back, everything flew out. I was even taking stuff off of him. I was saying, you got too much, you got too much. The Ring camera caught the beginning of me taking everything off of him, so he had a light load, and also caught me trying to help him as he fell. Now tell me, if a landlord takes advantage of the disabled, he tries to take advantage of a man who's going senile, who falls down from mold. He allows waterfalls to fall into his apartment for 10 years, and we've only lived here for 6 years. And if he continues hurting and killing and getting people sick, because remember, we do die from this, and doctors cost a lot of money to try to give these type of treatments. So, seeing as we got 3 windows rotted out with mold and waterfalls, we got mold all over the place. We got pictures, videos, and this has been going on way before we lived here. You would think the courts of Rochester, New Hampshire would keep people safe and they wouldn't move anybody else in to get hurt, right? No, what they're doing is taking advantage of us even more. They claim David is fine. Meanwhile, he sits there shaking, saying nothing. And the landlord pays our neighbors who work for him. And like, for instance, we needed plumbing done. That pipe has been an ongoing problem since we moved in. So I asked them to please send a plumber to fix the pipe. They send 3 people for 1 tile, even though I said it was a pipe. They come in with 1 tile. They replace the tile. And then they intimidate us so we'll stop asking for repairs. Then the landlord, a couple years before that, said he was going to hit us and evict us if we made a complaint. I tried to get a window fixed and get bud bug removal, and he threw me to the ground on a Ring camera, kicked me, and beat me in my injuries. Now I can't return to work. I got $0. This was part of his plan. He thinks my father is some rich guy that's going to jump in here, give me a bunch of money to repair his place. Or I'm going to go back to work injured a 3rd time so I can give him money. Well, is that going to happen? Of course it is. The landlord is going to go to the courts of Rochester. They're going to get a court order to suck us dry. Why? Because the landlord neglected his property for over 15 years? How do I know this? Because when I moved in, there was still no doorknob at the front door. This doorknob I bought at Home Depot. This lock I bought at Home Depot. This hole was here when I moved in. I have nothing to do with this. These mold spots were here when we moved in. There's a hole in windows when we moved in. Not only that, 2 sliding doors were missing. And was I the one who moved in here? No. I got a phone call from an 84-year-old that he was having problems with the landlord and that somebody named Mark Harrington moved him in here with a Raymond Hill who refused to pay and was going to put the debt on David. So not only was this guy Raymond Hill going to stick his rent debt on David, then the landlord was planning on blaming everything, all these damages on David, even though David just moved in. So I got a call months later. I came in, I worked out with the landlord. I said, "Oh, you're going to fix these things up?" The landlord agreed. The landlord agreed to put in new windows. He agreed to fix the pipes. 6 years later, he now says that he's not going to do it, that somehow we got to pay for his pipes. He even got permission from the courts last year that if there's any pipe damage, the tenants have to pay. I am sucked dry. This is after COVID. Inflation is high, and now the landlord has put me out of work. And if you think that that's not true, just look at the fucking camera footage. But no, the judge won't look at it. The town won't look at it. Code enforcement told me we don't deal with mold and sent me away. Welfare said we're not going to send the reports upstairs. The Department of Health and Human Services has done nothing but claim that this man is fine as he can't talk. He can't take out his own trash. He can't clean up his own feces. He can't cook his own food. He can't speak in court. He can't represent himself. He can't get anything done. There's a guy harassing him. He can't even get a restraining order because he mumbles during the court. He can't even tell his caregiver when he's going to do court over the phone, even though I did all this work to try to get him a restraining order. And then when it's finally time to get it and go to court, we got a bunch of douchebags lying. Yes, the judge wants to believe a bunch of storytelling over very clear video, very clear pictures. I got piles of it. Hundreds of pictures, hundreds of videos that speak for themselves. Instead, a landlord goes in and goes, "Oh, these guys are making false complaints. No, they're damaging my apartment. Yeah, all those leaks on the ceiling and the ceiling tiles coming down, they did it." Yeah, is that why downstairs hallways like that? Is that why it was like that before we moved in? Well, how about the windows on 3 floors? Well, how about that? Then the judge goes, "I don't want to hear about other neighbors." But it's one problem. You got 3 floors of rotted window waterfalls. How is that my fault? The landlord goes, "They're leaving the windows open." That's ridiculous. The fucking hole was there before we moved in. Not only this, it's on 3 floors. On top of this, we've only recently started leaving the windows open because we're falling down, we're vomiting in the morning, we're getting sick, and I think I'm gonna die soon. Yes, this landlord might even be responsible for the deaths of people at 314 Rochester Hill Road, Rochester, New Hampshire, apartment 3J. There might even be people dying 10 years from now, seeing as no matter what you do, this condition of these apartments is deadly. Well, what has been done about it? They have put the cost on the tenants. They've made the tenants give the landlord money, and then the landlord just re-rents it out without doing a fucking thing. When I came in here, there was black grease everywhere on the cabinet's walls. I can even show you an example. I redid this fridge about, 16 times since I moved in 6 years ago. I moved in about, 2019, and Dave moved in 2018. Now, if you look, you'll notice something very interesting. That I cleaned this fridge many, many times. As you can see, it turns white. It's not the cleanest in my opinion, but it's still white. And now look what the landlord left us when we moved in. Boom! Years of grime. There was goddamn crayon from the kid who lived here before us. There was a man who had kids visiting, his son I guess, and they drew crayon in the other room. Never repaired. No doorknobs. No new doors. Holes everywhere. I even had to repair. You see my curtains? But look at this. Oh, don't got enough memory for it. Okay, I'll try to get it over here. Can you see that? Can you see that? I had to putty it. There was lots of pinholes there. I'm the one who filled them. And what the hell is that bump? You can tell that there was something there. He didn't do shit. This place was fucking gone. It is deadly. And the biggest problem is in there. I put that foam because there was gallons of water. As you can see, it was open hole below the window frame. When I asked him to send a window person to put in new windows because the mold is rotting them out, he tells me he'll send somebody. He sends somebody to put in a piece of glass, and put in another piece of glass, and put in another piece of glass. There's nothing wrong with the glass, though. And they're not even a window repairman. These are the tricks. If we bring him to court, telling him that he needs to stop allowing gallons of water to come in, he tells the judge, "No, we fixed it." And then the judge says, "See, he fixed it, all done." And then we suffer some more. Well, they